Okay guys, in the last video I showed you how to connect to a MySQL database using Java. Today I will show you how to actually create a table using the Java MySQL connector. So the first thing we're going to need to do is go ahead and create another function, and we're going to have this be a public static, and this one's going to be a void. And we'll go ahead and call this just create table, no arguments, and we're going to need a throws exception. Alright, and now that we have the framework or the function created, we can go ahead and put in a try statement because we want to catch any errors that we might get. And we'll have the exception as E, and system.out.print new line E, end, and close our last bracket there. And actually here I started typing in the wrong thing. There we go. Alright, so in our try statement we want to go ahead and take connection con and use our get connection function that we just made in the last video. So now once we call this, we are connected to our database and we are ready to start modifying it. So we'll come down here and we'll go ahead and create what's called a prepared statement. And all this is saying is we are getting the SQL statement ready to be used, but we're not actually using it just yet. And it will be all just like this. We'll need an import here, and it's again the java.sql, not the MySQL. And then for args, what we can do is put in our actual SQL statement. So here our statement is going to be create table if not exists. And all this is doing is saying that if the table, which is going to be table name, it should be all lowercase for the table name. So if this table doesn't already exist in our database, go ahead and create it. Now that we've actually created our database, we need to go ahead and tell it what fields it's going to have. So we'll start with an ID, and it's going to be an integer, and that integer cannot be null, and we want it to auto increment. Let's see if I can spell this right. And then after that, we are going to go ahead, and this database is just going to hold two other fields other than the ID, the first name and the last name. And as always, we need to define these as what they are. So I'm going to use varchar for this one, and I'm just going to set it to its largest possibility of 255 characters. And I'll do the same for the last name. It will be a varchar of 255 characters. And then we can go ahead and just tell our program that we want the primary key to be to be the ID. So it will be primary key, all capitals, which it doesn't have to be capital, but it helps to keep it organized. And then the field that you want to be the primary key. And then we should close it with our last quote and come to the next line. Let's just see what our error is here. Here we go, we forgot the equal sign. So it's prepared statement create equals our connection variable dot prepared statement and our SQL code. And on the line underneath that, we can go ahead and actually, in this case, execute our statement. So we'll use create dot execute update is what we want. And we'll end our line. And that is enough that right there, considering all of this works, we will create our table if it doesn't exist. And if it does exist, well then we don't have anything that we need to worry about. We are going to, on this one, actually add a finally statement, and that's just going to tell us that the table has been created, or in this case, the table has been, or the function has been completed. Alright, and now we do have a couple different options here. We can either connect up here and then run this again, or we can just take this out and go directly to create table, because we open our connection here anyways. And let's see, just gotta change my spelling so it's accurate. I misspelled the word here, and so I respelled it wrong there. So now when we run this, it should connect and create a table. And as you remember from the last video, we didn't actually have an actual account set up. I went back and I made an account for the user Java data, and the password is mypass. So hopefully we won't get this access denied this time. So we can run that, and we've still got one error here, so let's go to that. And it's something with my final statement. I'm sure I just misspelt a word. It's system.out.println and then function complete. And there we go. I just misspelled the word print. So we can run this program, and it says that we are connected, which is coming from our connection function down here, and then it says the function is complete. And if we go ahead and open up my database viewer, some custom software that we have or paid for. If you do a lot of work with SQL, this is a wonderful program to have. It's a little bit pricey, but it is definitely worth the money if you're working with databases a lot. And I'll connect to my databases, and here you can see we have table name, which we just created in here. We created the database table name. So let's go ahead and switch this to something different just to show you that it works. So we can have I am alive, and save and run this. And it says we're connected and we've created or finished the function. And I come back into here and go down to refresh, and we have I am alive. Open up this table and we have the ID, which is an integer. It's the primary, it's not null. And then we have our two other fields, first and last name, which are both varchars of 255 characters each. So this all worked. In the next video, I will show you how to insert data into your database.